Hey y'all, it's me again, Joey.
Well, ready to let them loose?
Yep, that's it. Let's see if they make us run.
Oh,
Probably so.
yeah, that one tried to get after him, but other than that, what can you expect? I mean, can you blame them? Oh yeah, they're getting after us now. Go, Joey, go!
They mad.
They're mad, buddy. I'm gonna get in the truck. You gotta go back and get your camera.
But also, just get as many as you can off the one next to it. Get out.
You gotta move forward.
Do that side again. Y'all ready? Let's get started. Hello, everybody. Over there in the chat. How's everybody doing tonight? How about you, Mr. JW? How are you doing tonight?
I'm just barely basically walked in the door.
Yeah.
Been in the bee yard all since about 11 this morning and just finished up. I went to
Yeah.
19 hives. That's a lot for me.
19.
I've got 9 more to go and I'll have my 44 for my main farm. I'll have them gone through.
Yeah.
I didn't keep track, but I think I put on 21 or 22 supers. Some of them I put a couple on. Most of them I had one on, but I'm putting double. I'm putting triple on some of them. Things are rolling big time here. Nice day today. It was perfect day to work bees. A little on the windy side, but it's 72 now. I think the high was 76, but it's been thing near 90 the last 2 or 3 days, but cooled off yesterday. It's had some storms come through, but thank you, Jesus, we missed them all. So they were on both sides of us. Some pretty good storms. A lot of folks got killed down just south of us here.
Really?
70,
I hadn't watched any weather or news lately, so I don't know what's going on.
I think it killed 14 in Kentucky. Down there, down there in the county northeast of where Cayman lives. You know, Somerset, that's in the southeast county, the southeast corner of Kentucky down there.
Go ahead.
Had some tornadoes north of us here, about 50, 60 miles. If that thing was coming right at us, they was forecasting a good chance of it. And we actually had sirens and stuff. It was a couple sighted in the north side of my county, but we got by. Nobody hurt, no damage. So thank you, Jesus. That's all I can say. We didn't need it. Starting to dry up a little.
I hadn't been in a beehive today or yesterday, actually. Two of my granddaughters had dance recitals today, so I just spent my time with them doing that. Hadn't been home long.
Yeah.
But what time I have spent in the bee yard, last week I think it was, I just kind of pulled a few frames at a time. I don't know if I've already told this or not, but I pulled just a few select frames in a few hives, and just to start trying to make room because they had full frames of honey.
Yep.
And I pulled just a little over 100 pounds from them, and I went to my Taylor yard where I only got 4 hives, and one of those is that big swarm I caught. But the other 3, that third deep I got on them, at least 2 of them is totally full of honey. It's not fully capped yet. And I said, I may go ahead and just take some of this, because the first few frames I pulled was good and solid. And I got all excited and I grabbed one out of the middle, pulled it out and just turned it upside down and just kind of shook it a little bit. And it just dribbled all over that lid. I said, nope, not this one. Let me try another one. I did 3 or 4 and I finally give up. So I said, I'll leave it. So I'm going to give them another week to go back and try to do something there. But I don't know if I can make it tomorrow after church. If I don't, Monday, I'm going to go. I got some mediums prepared just to sit on top of them or either lift up that deep, third deep, and put the medium foundation under the bottom of it.
Yeah.
Where it won't be in my way no more for a while. But there's something trickling in, but it's not enough to stop robbing. If you leave something out too long, they'll still wrap it up.
No, I haven't had any of that. Thank you, Jesus. But I
think what it is, I've been asking a few people at the meetings and really didn't get an answer. Like tallow, I know tallow's not working around here yet, but whatever's coming in is coming in at a certain time of the day. It's not an all-day thing. It's just like maybe some in the morning and then maybe a little later in the evening. But it's not all day long. I'm not ignoring anybody over in that chat. I just seeing so many. I know I'm not going to keep up with you. I just want to say hey to everybody.
Yeah, that's me also. There's a bunch of them on here.
Yeah. I just got where I can't keep up with it. Let's see.
Y'all get bored. Some of you will come on here and you will make fun of you if you don't. Or I will. Joy's an answer. I am. I'll make fun of you, Joy.
I'm kind of looking back to see if anybody had made a comment or a question or something.
Most
I
of
think
them
most
say,
of it. Yeah, just shaking hands right now.
Yeah. Oh, I think I mentioned it. I went through last 7th through the last weekend. I had 13 swarms in my hives, and I was aggravated. I got them all caught. I gave one away to my neighbor. He came over and helped me lift me up with my tractor so I could get the one up on it was pretty high up in the tree.
Yeah.
I got a front end loader, put a pallet on it, the forks, and had him lift me up about 18 feet or so, 20, where I could reach them. I got them. I had 2 about the same height and 2 different big oak trees. I said, I'll give you one if you help me get the 2. So I gave one away, and 2 others was so absolute high that I couldn't get them. So of the 13, I got 10 of them rehived and back in the hive, and I had done some split the 7th when Tom and Melissa were out here. I got to take time out and let my little dog in. He's about here begging.
Okay.
I'll let him outside. I'll be right back.
I saw somebody comment here. I wanted to highlight. Who said it? Oh, right there. It could be. We've got a little clover around. One of my out yards has got a good bit around it. But it's kind of packed out too, but it's the same way. It's still wet.
How about pollen? Are you getting your bees bringing in some pollen? I mean, showed up, Joey. I'm getting.
Yeah, I've been seeing some coming in, and when I hadn't. The only thing I've seen in the brood nest is the swarms I've transferred, and I'm seeing some pollen in them too, bee bread and everything.
Yeah. I've got a light orange, a dark orange, and kind of a pale yellow, and just almost a light brown. I think that light brown or just base colored, I believe it's blackberry. My blackberry is starting to come on pretty strong right now. I've got black locust. I got blackberries. I got multiflora rose. I've got everything up here just about in bloom. And my
our blackberry's been gone. Matter of fact, the berries themselves are gone. I just looked at some on my tree line today. Crazy comb. You got the right spacing? I've seen some of those plastic frames some of these people buy from some places. I know that ain't probably his problem, but they just won't touch them plastics. I don't know
Yep.
what it is.
I've got one from a pretty big outfit that I'm not going to name which one it is, but but my bees won't use the frames that or you won't work the foundation that's in the frames that I got off of them.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to name names. It's just, but it's a highly respected merchant, so I don't know what the deal is on it. If you look in the magnifying glass and look at those foundations that's in those frames, the walls on them is a lot thicker than your other, the little hexagon walls
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
actual foundation, they're thicker. And I guess that's the reason I've waxed them, double waxed them, triple waxed them, quadruple waxed them, and they just won't work them. I don't know what it is. And I could put in a Purco or a Premier or Acorn right beside them, go to work on them, so it's the foundation. I'm pretty sure I treat them all the same way. And I re-wax everything I get, regardless of how many times they've been waxed. I add bone to it. And that's what I've been doing some this morning, but this afternoon or about 11, actually, 11:30, I started, and I've been in the beehive since till just not very long ago. I haven't even wore stuff hardly.
My old cough starting to come back now.
Yeah. Well, we got pine pollen. It's awful up here. Everything's yellow. I'll leave my little old pickup. I drove down to your place, that little Toyota. I leave the doors on it. My little old dog out there at the farm. He goes in and out. Because when I go to bee yards, he's not going to go to bee yards. He goes to the truck, lays down. And I tell you what, my dash is almost yellow from pine pollen.
Philip, you ain't busy. Come on in. Keep us company. I see Brian.
He got too many projects going on.
Brian Baker's Bees. I got a couple of things from them. I'll go ahead and show it. I just got this in the mail just a few days ago. I don't know how long it's been sitting in my mailbox because it's a couple of days I didn't check it. Got one of them. It's a printed hive tool, like Mr. Ed's.
Mm-hmm.
Engraved.
I
appreciate that. That's nice. And I got another nice package too. Let's see.
You're a little bit blurry, Joey. It's just just not coming through. I just can't make that out at all.
Huh. I don't know what it is. Maybe I need
your whole image, your whole picture image is a little bit it's not a good clear image like it usually is. I don't know what's going on.
How about anybody else? Is it blurred to anybody else or just shiny? It looks normal over here to me now. Earlier it was blurry.
Yeah.
But this is they sent me this. 2 stings, jalapeno honey salsa. And I want to eat some of that in a minute.
I can't even read who it's from, Joey.
That's Brian Baker Bees right here. Let's see.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I can't, but I can't read it. It's blurry on my. There it got a little cleared up just a little bit more. Got black blur again now.
Let me do a little work right here. Let's see.
That's a little bit better right there of you, but the overall now that's totally blurred out.
Yeah. I'm gonna go back to 50 and we'll see what that does.
I don't know if
It's a-
anybody else will tune in there on the chat where they can tell, but you're blurry. Or Darren, Pennsylvania says you are blurry, Joey. But to him,
Yeah,
also,
several of them said it.
okay.
I don't know.
I don't know what
I
it is.
can't reboot now. We already live.
You're really.
Let me check something else here. Well.
Yeah, it's about the same actually. Eddie says you're very blurry on his, but no, I wouldn't.
That made me disappear.
Yeah. That's back up just a hair where you was just before this. Right there is about the best overall image that you've had
Okay.
tonight. It's not It's not. Usually your image is, very clear to me, but just not this evening. I don't know what the difference is, but
All right. Did that make a difference?
well, it's back blurrier. Yeah, you made a little bit of a difference there, but you got to go back to it. Whatever, if you turn the dial or whatever you're turning, it's come.
Well, I tried. I don't know. Probably my internet.
It may be, Joey. I had a.
Let me switch from AT&T to Starlink. That change anything?
A little hair dab, yeah, about the same, honestly.
That's kind of running slower.
Yeah. I don't know what the deal is.
Me neither. I'm gonna go back to the AT&T because that's a weak signal.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna have to call up Mr. Musk and see if he can't get a little better satellite in. Maybe he can get you a designated satellite just for Elon.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I usually try to reboot before I get started, and I just ran in here and turned everything on.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what are we talking about over there in the chat? Ain't gonna worry about the picture.
And talk about warp frames, different frames that you're having trouble with. I think Philip Moore started on that.
I'm still finding a few of them old warped plastic foundations. I about got them all out, but I had a lot of trouble with a lot of them. They wouldn't draw on them, and seemed like the one they did draw on, after they got some age on them, they bowed in the frame.
You mean the solid plastic acorns?
No, it's not. It's
The all plastic frames.
I don't know what the brand is, but it's a black frame. I mean black foundation. I bought some frames from a guy locally here, and I didn't buy that many, maybe 50 or 100 or something like that. And they didn't get all put in one box. They got kind of put out in different hives, and I've been culling them as I find them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like the acorn. I got some of the acorn foundation in a box here. When I need some, I grab it.
Like I said, most of the majors, and I've got some. Most of my stuff's.
I got
Mayor,
some Pirco. I got one of them's a yellow, and I got one is a black. I think the Pirco's the yellow.
Yeah.
Or maybe that way. No, I'm sorry. The Pirco's the black. Let's see. If anybody else wants to come on in and give us a little chat, come on in. Is it getting better? You can't do much with this.
Yeah, you're that's better right there.
Yeah.
That's the best it's been right there for me on
It was probably my internet then.
That's the clearest image I've got of you right there just tonight.
I'm gonna see if you can see that now.
Yeah, I can. I can see the two stings. I can see the Baker bees now. Yep. I mean, I couldn't make it out before. Nope.
And this.
Yeah, I can see the Joseph Frost. Did he send you that also? Did he?
Yeah.
That? Okay.
They were sent separately.
Yeah.
I don't know if you. That's just an engravement.
I made some. I copied one of Jeff's and made some and give to different people around here. I just made them out of. I had some 3/4 HDO, and it's pretty tough stuff. And that I made some. Give Melissa one, Tom.
Yeah.
Some of the folks up around, some of my neighbors. They're coming pretty handy if you got some stuck together, frames from top to bottom inside the frame or two where you can get in there and cut them apart.
I took some of my. I've never run 9 frames. I took some of mine that were full and still wet. I pulled one frame out and added to one that didn't have all 10 full.
Yeah.
And spaced them. I did that to 2 or 3 different hives the other day. See if they'll make them fatter. If
Well,
they was already kept, I didn't mess with them.
I'm getting when I open them up, they've always done a good job this year. Everyone I've put, 9s and 10s or 7s and 8s, they're making them some wonky, cross comb with them. So I
do they?
feel.
But these were already drew out flush.
Yeah.
And full of honey. I figured it'd be worth a try and see what they do.
Yeah.
They start messing it up.
Not doing that, but I haven't this year. It's I started putting, 8s and 8s and 10s and 10s. They just making. I wouldn't call it wonky comb. We're just closing the like on the top bars, closing them clear together. Clear across the top. From top bar to top bar. I want to spread them out for some reason. That's the first year they ever done that on me, but I've got it this year. But I've had a lot of strange stuff happen this year. It may be old age. I don't know what's going on, or I don't know what I'm doing, or the bees got my number. I'll tell you what part of it is. That doggone Matt Ramsbottom, my old buddy out there on the dirty side, one of them St. Louis boys, he worked in bees on April Fool's Day, and I think he jinked. I keep aggravating him, teasing him that it's all his fault, all this bad luck that I've been having. Made the bee gods mad at us. I'm gonna have to get Clay Bunner out here to show me how to keep bees. I need somebody to mentor me. I can't get you to come up here and do it for me.
There he
Great
is.
going here, Matthew, because I'm talking about you.
There he is right there.
I'm still aggravated at you doing those bees on April Fool Day. You've jinxed me for the whole year. I'm telling you. I'm madder than ever been.
I got tickled that video that I just put out this morning. I was already having a bad day. I wasn't going to transfer those bees that day. I've been in the bee yard, and I looked at the weather. I shouldn't have done that, but I looked at the weather, and it said rain, thunderstorms the next morning. So I said, I just kind of dropped my head, said, I'm going to go ahead and do it. And it off camera, everything was going wrong. I got up there and got ready. First thing I couldn't find was my torch to light my straw that's already packed in there and been used a couple of times. Couldn't find it. So I dug everything. I said, I ain't going back to the house. I dug all of it out and just used a little lighter and started it back and put it together. Then there's something else I needed I couldn't find. And finally got started, and I'd brought enough rubber bands to do it. I thought there was just going to be a couple of them that had comb drew under the bottom. So I just brought enough to do one frame where I could see what it was looking like before I got any more. And I laid them things down on that frame that was already in there, and I bumped them, and they fell in the bottom. And I got looking. I knew I brought them. I got to looking all over for them. If I hadn't videoed that, I would have never knew where those rubber bands went. Because looking down that bright sun and looking down in that box, it was just a dark hole down in there.
Yeah.
But sometimes that camera catches things your eyes can't see looking through a veil. I laughed about that later. Then my camera that I was using kicked out, overheated. I had to switch it to my standby camera. Got about another third of the way through, and that camera kicked out. I deleted what I said. So it had actually, when I walked over there to turn it off to readjust to get another angle, it said camera overheated, and I just assumed it was off. But when I went back and looked at the video, it was still recording. I guess it was just getting ready to kick off. No, I didn't throw that away. I probably should have said what I was doing. I was just throwing it over there closer to the shade. I went and picked that up after it was all over with. It's already been cleaned up by the ants and bees and everything else and put in the wax melter.
Yeah. You know, I've got one of those solars, and I'm having trouble with ants getting in it. You know, I just got it set on a pallet outside, you know, in the direct sun there on the south side of the building. Got trouble with them little sugar ants. I call them, little tiny things getting in there.
See Gunline saying, hey to Lee. Lee must be in here. Oh, yeah. There he is. Surprised he ain't working.
I don't know what.
But that hive I was just talking about, it wouldn't bother them, but it was loaded down in the top with them sugar ants.
James,
I had
Mom-
noticed that. What's that?
Go ahead, Joey.
I had noticed that when that box was still hanging on the tree, I saw a lot of those ants, even before the swarm moved in. Ants running up and down that tree all the time. I said, this may not be a good tree to be in. And I guess they didn't let it bother them. Yeah, Lee, I never had that old GoPro 4 I had. I never had issues with it. Set it right out in that sunlight and just record till I got through. I might have to get me a GoPro or some other
Lee,
kind of
changing
camera.
the subject, if you're on here, Lee, how's your mama doing? He said she wasn't doing well. She's a nice lady.
Yeah. I think my wife fell in love with her. They kind of clicked.
Yeah, baby. Well, she clicks with everybody that goes to see her.
Yeah.
She treated you after we left your place. We went over there to Lee's, and heck, she treated us like we was lost long family, and Tom and I could understand her liking me, but I couldn't understand her liking Tom quite so well. I just, she took him in. She treated him just as good as she treated me, and I didn't think that's hardly right. She's one sweet lady. I know that.
Lee, do you have it in the sunlight like I do for a long time or anything? I think that's what's causing my issues. I got an umbrella for it, but it's so big. I've wanted something about 12 inches in diameter just to put over it. The one I got, it's a big umbrella.
Mm. Okay, Lee, that's good news. Hopefully she's their medication reacting on her. I'm assuming. I do all my high tech filming with my iPhone, unedited.
Yeah, I had a couple of people that own the same camera I got, and they asked me what settings I had on it. I told them I was using 2.7.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hardly ever run it on 4K because my computer won't hardly handle that. I do that 2.7, and it worked pretty good. That way, if I wanted to zoom in, I could zoom in on something a little bit with it. They told me, I watched some videos actually, and it said it'll run cooler on 1080 than it will 2.7. So I tried that, but none of that made any difference. I've turned, if I'm not holding the camera, I set it to the rock solid. I turn that off. If you're moving around, it fixes that.
Mm-hmm.
Turn that off, and it'll still get hot sitting in that sun. I guess I need to move somewhere else.
No, I think they all kick off. You got them you leave them out in direct sun for a good while. It's the batteries, I think, that get too hot. It's not necessarily the phone.
And it might be happening because I've got that wireless speaker plugged into it there. The receiver for it, it's plugged in, so that may be making it work harder. But I had issues with overheating last year when I didn't have that too.
Brian, tell them people that wants to install them nukes at night, if they want to do it, have good luck with it, to hold their flashlight in their teeth.
Yeah, I hear.
That'll get them over that nighttime installation on the nuke idea. Maybe that's you starting that. You're doing all your installations at night, are you, Mr. Bunner? That sounds like something you'd probably do. Get people all kinds of bad trouble. Russell, I think Clay goes by night banded. I think he's doing all these nighttime installations. Nobody's paying any attention to me anyway. I'm just blabbing.
Yeah, I'm seeing something over here saying my connection is unstable.
Yeah.
Probably
You're
my wife.
going. You're especially if you move back and forth a little bit, it'll blur up, and then
Yeah.
it'll clear up a little bit, and then it'll blur up.
It's showing over here. It's showing my Wi-Fi signal is strong, but evidently this I'm looking at is the actual internet, and it says it's unstable. So that's probably AT&T doing that.
Probably, maybe Russian interference. I mean, we maybe maybe the Russians are hacking you.
Not on purpose.
Westcliff says maybe your network cable got a kink in it.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody might have tied it in a knot.
You're getting all kinds of high-tech advice here. Lee says he does.
I need to check that. I don't know what I got.
About that.
I think I got what they recommended, but maybe I might have looked at it wrong.
I think you guys talk about Tom and Melissa. I think they went down to the lake this weekend. They was going to go eat in some Rudy Snoot restaurant. I'm sure they cost probably $100 a plate. If you got it, well, you can flaunt it like that. I usually eat bologna. Can't afford those Rudy Snoot restaurants. Show the B-math guy. He's the B-math guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go listen to him again. It'll be my third time. That is a good class.
What's that about, Joey? Go ahead and explain it a little better, if you will.
Well, I wish somebody else would, but he kind of gives you the layout of what all is going on as far as timing in the hive, about the queen when they start from the egg. He starts off with like from the egg to it hatches and to its capped, the regular worker bee. Okay. Then he talks about the queen. Every bit of it, all the timing, it all ties together, and it gives you a good layout of what to do, what to look for, and when to look for it. But and he does a real good job with his presentation on it. I might ask him if I can record him. I should have done it at our club. I wouldn't have to ask nobody. But I just done it.
Yeah.
But it's a good class. A good little talk. He's from the Pine Belt Club there in Purvis, Mississippi, below Hattiesburg.
Yeah.
Don't look like nobody's wanting to come in. We might have to make this a short one.
Well, I probably made everybody mad. I'm sorry. I
Get the
apologize.
wrong one.
Oh, there's one. He can come on
Yeah.
in here. He's probably cooking or
Huh.
chasing women someplace.
Mhm.
Get in here, Todd. I'm gonna insult you. It's only
This is the one I was trying to hit. I couldn't. It jumped 3 or 4 times before I hit the right one. I need to aim below it, like shooting skeet. When it's going away from you, you got to shoot below it to hit it. This one, you got to shoot above it.
I've got my. Talk about your video. I've got my video all out of whack. I look like a red beet for some reason. I shut my light glare off. It really blurs things out. It makes me look red.
You've been in that heat all day long.
I'm going to insult you regardless whether you come on or not. There, Todd. You know me. Get on in here. I'll apologize to you maybe. Well, a couple little old chiggers and ticks won't hurt you, Matthew. You get on here and we need your help. Joey's getting tired of listening to me blabber. That's all I'm doing. No information, just blabbering.
Let's see. What'd he say?
How's your gun line, Tim? How's your swarm trapping going? I haven't had a chance to watch your stream or talk to you. How's it going? Or if you're on here.
They were.
I seen him. Wonder how they was going to try to score. Are they getting a few bees back in their yard, or what's going on over in Alabama or Lower Alabama?
I never have it projected.
Good question. Sorry answer on my part. I don't have I'd say my main honey crop's probably Dutch white clover and sweet clover around here. I'm in a real area where the farmers gun line. I've got a lot of I don't know how much. It depends on what kind of soybeans you are. Some of the soybeans are pretty good nectar source too, and makes pretty nice honey actually. But there's some that don't put out any nectar at all, and the bees don't even touch them. Not hearing anything about anybody catching swarms out here yet.
I went to my uncle's house yesterday. He thought he was having power issues in the shed, and I went and got that straight for him. But that's where I got the chicken yard swarm boxes. Sunday I had went and checked it and nothing there, so I sprayed it a little bit. And yesterday I walked over there when I got through with the shed, and it's full of bees. So that's another one I got to take care of.
Tim, you come up and see me. I'll fill you in. I've had 13 swarms out of my hives. I've got 13 extra. I've got 13 extra colonies now that I really wasn't wanting. Look at that handsome young gentleman there from California with that day dance hat on. How are you, young man?
Got a sweat too.
How you doing?
Well, first thing I got to say is this: don't assume when you put your hat on your tailgate and, then go work in the bee yard and then come back, take your jacket off and veil off and put your hat on.
There's no bees in it.
Second, both of these happened today. When the wind's blowing and man, dust is flying, my allergies are killing me. Don't assume that when you put your hive tool in your back pocket that it doesn't have a bee on it, because sometimes it does. And both of those happened to me today.
Well, well, you're right. If it wasn't for bad luck, you wouldn't be having any with you, bud.
I got more beat up in my bee yard than I would on one of your chats, JW.
I had a cutout. I did have a cutout Thursday. I think I mentioned that on Tom and Melissa was on for Ricky there Thursday night. I had a cutout there Thursday, but it was baby cats in between double wall and what I call one of my old cattle barns that I had my show barn stalls in the feed room. Had 5 baby cats got down the wall, and Mama couldn't get to them. I had to take the inside paneling off the wall to cut out my baby cats. She's rehid them someplace. I don't know where she put them. Either that or the varmints got all 5 of them, but there was 3 black and whites and 2 blacks. So I was doing cat cutouts Thursday morning. Mama couldn't get to them. They were hungry. They was really a singing.
This is true right here.
Yeah. Yep. You'll find it when you mow.
Yeah.
Well, unless you did like I did one time last year, you used to talk about dropping something down the hive. I dropped the hive tool or laid the hive tool down on top of the frames, and they fell down in there, and I forgot it. I looked all over that place, and when I pulled supers to extract honey, there where the hive tool was about a month later. I began to think that the bee gods had scarfed up my hive tool, because I looked high and low for that thing. I've got an old one. It's yellow, and it's the old regular style, L-shaped head on it, and that's still my favorite. I've got several different brands and sizes and style, and I still like that old. I'm like Bob Benny. I got the same old one. I've had that same thing for, 12, 15 years probably. It's just
well, there's one out what I call my tunnel shed, my shed in the corner of my property. There's one I bought in a starter kit when I first got into it. I lost it out there somewhere and I hadn't found it yet. That's been 4 years ago. I know it's got to be right there somewhere. I just hadn't stepped on it yet.
Well, set your lawnmower down about an inch high.
Yeah.
You'll find it within 10 feet. First 10 feet, you'll find it.
I think it's somewhere I can't get with the lawnmower.
So I was talking to Matt last week, JW, and we were joking around and stuff. And he and Alicia sometimes, they'll say, "Oh, you come to Missouri, we'll find you a bride," blah, 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 blah. And I said, "You know what? I'll only do that if you get JW ordained and he oversees the ceremony."
I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah. They've got a mail order deal that you can, I had actually it was a niece of mine. They were a little, I don't know, liberal, I guess. And they had a buddy. They wanted him to marry him. And he's a character. He done a good job. but he went and got through this it's an online site where you can get ordained to be a minister. I can do it legal. I'm a boat captain. I can marry you. If you find you a woman, I'll marry you.
We don't have to be on the ocean.
No, I got a couple rub-a-dub tubs. You can stand in one canoe and I'll stand in the other, and you and your and your bride to be. Heck, I can marry you and baptize you all at the same time.
That's too much. Oh,
Hmm. What happened to the one you had on the internet? That didn't work out.
No, it wasn't going to work out at the beginning anyway. She's just kind of she wanted to learn more about bees
Yeah.
than learn more about me. So,
Okay. Well, you
Yeah,
need to
that's
send her
fine.
out to me. I'm harmless. I can use some help. I'll teach her all I know about bees in about 10 minutes.
Oh, geez.
Well, Todd, the little smoker you had the other day, have you used it anymore?
Yeah. I tried to use it today, but it was really windy. So it does have kind of its limitations, which I'm going to suggest that he make a higher speed. But yeah, I've used it. It works great. I love that
So
thing.
with the wind blowing, you're just having trouble getting it to go down between the frames?
Yeah, I mean, the wind would just take it, you know.
Yeah.
I couldn't. It's hard to direct it, but you know, you can if you stick it right in between the frames and hit the button there, it'll smoke it down there. But that's too much on them. But yeah, it works great. I like that. It's basically gosh, what is it? Not a power drill, but what's the other thing?
I don't think that one you got's the same brand as what, like Brian Coper up there, Stream Team, you know, up in Ohio. I don't think it's the same thing as what they're using.
Was it like an impact?
Yeah, it's about the size of an impact drill. So, but it's really light, and it uses just a regular 12-volt battery, you know, and it's got it has the very point. I should go get it. You know what? Hang on. I'm going to go get the dang thing. I'll be right back.
Joy, did you ever, I don't know, I might have mentioned this to you before. I'm going to change the subject a little bit. One of my hives swarmed, and it didn't go 20 feet away and went on some metal fence. There was 3 metal fence posts. I had a V fence, they bivouacked on that metal fence post, and I got that whole swarm, and I put them in a box, and I had a marked queen when the old original queen was in there with them. You know, I put her in there in that box. She must have had some virgins or something with her that I never did find. And bees never paid a bit of attention to her.
Yeah, probably so. Yep, something similar. Yep.
Anyone?
I actually seemed like I just mentioned this one on somebody's live. I actually had one swarm I caught, and they were up on the tree for about a week. Took them down and put them on the stand, and the very next day they were pushing the old queen out the door. They had I walked up there to just kind of inspect them, and they were pushing her out the door. They ended up finding another little queen in there. I guess when they supersede, they kind of just leave her alone till they get a mated queen. That's what they were doing with her, superseding.
They run her off or kill her, or, you know,
They pushed her out the door, so I just took her and tried her in another frame. You know, got a frame of brood.
Used her.
Yeah, she didn't do much.
They sure didn't. They didn't pay attention to this old original queen. I did the same thing. I took her and put her in another box, and she's still going in there with them. So I don't know what the deal was.
Yeah,
she was the mama, you know, to the whole bunch, I suppose.
Well, I got it. So it's.
Oh, that's a completely different thing. That thing.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. That one.
Yeah, I've seen that video. I thought about it. It was a gun-like thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not really going to see kind of hard on the camera to see the smoke coming out.
Yeah.
But it has cartridges that you plug into the tip. The tip has a magnet, and this is
Oh,
magnetized, so it goes in there.
in there with the magnet holes.
And I don't know if you could see it, but this is a vial. It has liquid in it, the oils that he makes up. This particular one, he's categorized as, well, it's backwards, but Z2.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to me, it smells like that car freshener, that Christmas tree
Okay, I got you. Yeah.
thing. So anyway, it's you can kind of see it smoking.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
it.
And
I went to his little website, or was it a YouTube channel? That's what it was, I think.
Mhm.
And looked at it after I'd watched your video.
it's it's just a regular battery, and just goes in there. It has a magnet, so there's a belt clip to it. It has a readout, but it's not going to really. I just blew my smoke in my face.
Yeah, it showed up. It showed up.
Yeah, this probably does cause cancer in California. It should have a Prop 59 sticker on it. He does have some low and high speeds right here. The low is low. Oh, it's really.
You see the smoke good there.
The high is what I use, but it needs to be a little higher when it's really windy. So if he put this high as the low, and then a higher speed, probably work better.
Yeah.
It has a little readout on the back side here, a visual readout.
10 watts or 7. It
Yeah,
varies when you
it says
put it
80 watts.
Yeah.
It has a battery meter,
Yeah.
and then there's a there is a function on it. If you click it 5 times, it won't smoke. Then you have to
Click another 5.
you have to click it another 5 times, and then it smokes.
It must be like a safety feature or something.
But he told me this is an earlier version, but I'll tell you what, I love this thing. It weighs, I should have weighed it on my scale. It probably weighs a pound and a half. And the biggest part is the battery. Because after that, this thing is light. It's all high impact plastic. It's put together really good.
It needs a magnet on the side of it where you set your hive tool against it.
Well, it's got one on the outside and one on the inside. Well, it's on both sides.
There you
So
go.
if you want to put it, you put it either side. What else? Well, that's basically it.
You stick it on your side, make sure it don't have a bee on it now.
Yeah.
I may look into the things. I tell you what it is. I've always tried to be safe with my smoker when I'm going from here to there. I strap it to my toolbox has a strap there where I lock it in, and I put a plug in it, and then I go on to the next bee yard or whatever, or come home, and that's always worked well. I guess I've been lucky. I went to the beekeepers meeting here at home Thursday night, and all was good. On the way home, something must have happened. I got to the house, and when I got out of the truck, I could smell smoke. I said, "Did I leave my smoker going around here somewhere?" And I opened that tailgate, and smoke rolled out of there. That thing had already fell out of that strap, and the top came open, and it was rolling smoke. If I hadn't have checked it, it would have caught. I've got one of those. I don't forget what it's called. It's like a mat inside of my bed of my truck. It'd probably caught that on fire. it was rolling pretty good.
Well,
'Cause it's all closed up, but
see, I
could've been-
operate right now. I operate in weeds. Everything's dead now. Nothing's green. And if I dropped that smoker and the ember fell out of the tip of that thing, it would be game over. I mean, it's dry everywhere. So I love this thing. It allows me to not be, so
Worry
uptight.
about the woods on fire. Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's houses and property around there. I would be liable. You wouldn't see me. I'd be breaking rocks somewhere in Kansas. Yeah, but
Yeah, they will to California. You can burn up a whole half a state out there pretty easy.
yeah, you pretty much could. Yeah. So now this version is like, I don't know, he's 3 versions ahead right now on what he's working on. But man, I love this version right now. This version 5 something, but he's on version 8 something. Yeah. I'm going to have to send it back to him pretty soon. I need to contact him and ask him how long I could keep it for.
you might have to get him to come on one of the lives, whatever night works for him,
Hey,
and talk.
yeah. I mean, he can explain everything about it inside and out. But I think it's going to be a useful tool, especially for someone that's operating in, fields and stuff where fire might be a danger, Besides that, here's the big thing. So I have a queen builder out there right now. And the other day, all I had to do was go feed it. Well, there are so many bees in there. If I didn't smoke them, I couldn't get them out of the way to pour the feed. And also when I take the top box off, the Queen Right box, what I was talking about on Charlie's channel last night, I mean, those bees were just coming at me without smoke. So I thought, man, it only take 5 minutes, open it up, pour the syrup in there, put it back together, and get out of there. I'm in and out in 5 minutes. And I use this thing because I didn't have to light a smoker and stoke that up for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it takes. And this thing, all you had to do is put the oils in the tip, and away you go. So it's really fast.
I'm going to see if I can find your video and post a link in here.
Oh, it's only been a couple, I think 2 videos ago, I think.
Yeah, I seen the video.
I'm going to be doing another one before I have to send it back. Hey, Mark, I don't know what batteries he's going to use. I didn't talk to him about that.
He mentioned something about that, and somebody had asked him if he could make an adapter to use any battery, but the tone he left was like, I don't know if I want to get involved in that.
Wow.
I'll tell you a story about smiling one of these days, Carl, and in private when I see you at the next Nobby or something.
But yeah, this and he has it in a nice carry case.
Yeah, it's fancy.
It's like a drill case.
Yeah.
You can't break this thing. It's got the foam on the inside. I don't know if you can see that. No, you probably can't because everything in the back. It's got the high-tech foam.
Yeah, that's just like these Pelicans I got. It looks just about just like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a neat deal. I like it. I wish I didn't have to send it back, but I do.
I think
okay.
There's a link right there, I think.
Yep. Yep, that'll do it. But
Is that the link to your chat, Joey, or is that the link to that website?
That's a link to his the video on that smoker.
Got you.
yeah. The next generation smoker.
I don't have to worry about setting the woods on fire because that's would be a good idea if I burned a little around me.
See if it actually worked.
It did. I tried it.
Okay.
Yeah. But other than that, I'm splitting splits again. This will be the second time I'm splitting splits. Now, here's why I'm doing it is because I've got Italians in my yard right now, and I'm kind of stuck with those at the moment.
You shouldn't be prejudiced just because they're Italian.
Huh?
You shouldn't be prejudiced against those Italians in your yard. They're, you know, they have to make a living too. They have to eat.
Well,
Oh, you're talking about the bees.
Yeah,
Italian bees.
about
Oh,
the
okay. I thought you were talking about the people.
they kick it up a gear, and they don't stop. So I'm on my third round of second round of splitting splits, and then I've got 24. I have, and Mark will like to hear this. I've got 24 VSH queen cells in my builder right now, and they are from the daughter of the I guess F0 that Mark sent over 2 years ago. So anyway, hopefully that helps. We'll see what happens.
Mark, you need to go out there and set them highs back up if you haven't already. You know, they'll do better standing than they do laying on their side.
Did you get some weather last night, JW?
I didn't. It split and went around me. They was forecasting there was a tornado about maybe 60 mile north. He did a pretty good job. And then bad tornadoes in southeastern Kentucky. It killed some people.
Yeah.
A lot of damage there in a little town called Somerset. I've been there.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty close to, that shouldn't be over, I don't know, 40 or 50 mile maybe from Cayman.
I watched that, what's his name? Ryan Hall, y'all. He's a YouTuber. He does it here.
Yeah, he's from Kentucky. That's where he operates out of, yeah.
He was pretty hectic last night. When I was watching it, that tornado was bearing down on Somerset.
Yeah.
And then it went through. He said that's a very large. The indications of it seemed to be a very large tornado.
Yeah.
And I guess apparently it was.
Yeah, it killed, I don't know, several people there.
Yeah.
It's a little kind of a small,
yeah,
town, rolling hills there in southeast Kentucky. So
St. Louis got hit a little bit too.
Not the same one that came through St. Louis, coming right up 70. And went through north of me, south of me. I've got a friend down the south about 50 miles that they had but it was straight line winds. Had some trees down, had a tree on his house and stuff. So
yeah.
But right where I'm at, we was expecting bad, and they was giving could be up to baseball starting. Hey ho, we did not get one drop of rain and very little wind. So
wow.
We was lucky. We've been lucky.
Wow. Well, that's good. That's good. Well, I've got to go start barbecuing.
What are you barbecuing tonight? What are you having?
Well,
without the full meal deal, if you're going to talk about it.
I bought me a chuck eye steak, and then I butchered it. You could split it. You could split it down the fat stripe or whatever it's called, and one side will be a Denver steak, and then the other side will be a very close, like a really close cousin to a ribeye, because that chuck eye cut is right next to the rib roast. So, I cut it. I pulled it apart. I froze the Denver, and I'm going to use the other side of it. And then I've got asparagus, and I guess I'll make me some mashed potatoes, and I'll be good.
Well, I'm going to be I'm gonna get on the internet, see if I can't find you a mail order bride.
No, no.
Todd, everybody must hate you. They trying to get you married off.
No.
Listen,
Man,
he
man.
needs all the help he could get. I could tell you.
Between work and bees, I don't have time for anything else.
Well, you're gonna have to quit killing all of them.
Yeah, right. Queen Bee, no, I do not have any of Randy Oliver's stock. He's got mutt stock from wherever. Around here, I guess. Did you guys watch Charlie's channel last night?
No, I was at my local bee meeting. We had the bee and we got a new local bee inspector, but I haven't seen the bee inspector at my place in over 15 years. So I don't guess they care. And I'm legal. I'm fully registered and the whole thing with the state, and got my all registered and report how many I got every year and the whole bit, which is actually that's pretty unusual too. But I'm straight legit on this deal.
Well, I was telling Charlie last night. There's a guy in the bee club here. He called me a couple weeks ago and he says, "Hey, you want some bees and make money at the same time?" And I said, "Well, that sounds pretty good." Well, it happens to be a yard that is owned by it's called Caltrans, California Transportation Department, and it's right up. It's on the highway that goes to Kings Canyon National Park, but it's right at the base of the Sierras. And it's about a 2 or 3 acre parcel. And what they're doing is they want to clean it up and sell it at auction. Well, about 5 years ago, these 2 beekeepers that happen to be thieves moved in there, and they were putting the stolen bees in that yard. And they put a trailer in there, and they did all this stuff at that yard, and no one bothered them. And then one night, they were coming out of the yard, and there was the county sheriff was down the dirt road that they had to go past. And, it was late at night, and he pulled them over. He said, "What are you guys doing?" And they started describing, "Oh, well, we got our bees back there." And he says, "Oh, you mean that lot right down there past the orchard?" Yeah, that's our lot. He says, "Oh, okay." He knew it wasn't a lot. He knew that was a Caltrans lot. Anyway, they got busted. And this was about 5 years ago. And there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pallets and boxes and lids. And I mean, everything out there except, the good stuff like extractors and all that stuff. But bee equipment, yeah, the only problem is it's been out there in the weather for 5 years. But Caltrans Caltrans told this guy that called me, they want those bees out of there because they want to clean up that yard, but they're scared to death of the bees. And they called him last year to get the swarms out of there, and he and his wife went out there and they got the swarms out of there. And the Caltrans people sat in their cars and watched them get it all out all day. So anyway, he charged them for that. Well, they called him back again this year and said, "Hey, the bees are back. You need to go out there and get them again and send us a proposal and this and that." Well, me and him went out there last week, and it's thick, full of weeds. I mean, you can't see anything out there. So I guess the guy told the Caltrans people, "Hey, you need to bring a loader or something out there and clear out all that brush because that's rattlesnake country too." And the hell, I'm going to be stomping around in there and worried about rattlesnakes. So we're just waiting for them to clean that up, and then we'll go in there and just take what we can. We'll have 2 or 3 other people from the club. Me and him walked around in some portions that weren't thick, and we counted at least 20 colonies that are in there right now. And there's half of the stuff that we couldn't get to is behind the brush that's 6 feet tall. A lot of it's thistle, and you could see the bees flying out of these stacks of boxes. So it's a gold mine of swarms. And incidentally, there's a pretty respectable queen breeder that has his queen breeding yard a mile south of this yard. So we're thinking that we got some of his stuff. So, and man, those queens, I busted in a couple of hives. Those queens were large, big queens, big queens.
How long they been there?
Well, those have been there for a year. Well, they weren't there last year because the guy that called me, he and his wife went out there and I think they took out 19 swarms that were in there in the boxes, and there's frames in there, and they're waxed, and wax moth had destroyed some of them, but he got them all. So these are new ones that moved in this year, and it's right next to an orange orchard, and they're full of honey. So they're full of orange honey.
If you pay me right, I'll come out there. I'll catch the rattlesnakes while you get the bees.
I don't know what I'm scared of. I don't know what I'm scared more of, actually, either that thistle or those rattlesnakes, because that thistle will tear you up.
Well, that rattlesnake might, if you get too close, get your nose in his face, he might pop you.
So last year, Caltrans, since they went on Caltrans property, the husband and wife, they very graciously gave them snake gaiters to put over their boots. And I said, that'd have been enough for me. I said, no, man, you could just burn it. I don't want to get in there.
They just been protective. Them rattlesnake won't hardly bother you unless you just get him cornered where he can't get away from you.
Well, yeah.
Get away from me.
Yeah.
I've never been underneath one of them beehives, over on pallets or something in any place, get out of the sun.
Yeah.
You might pick one of them hives up, you might get popped.
Yeah.
It's not too likely if he can get away from you and he's not in something,
Well, I'd hate to pick up that last box off the pallet, the one that's on the pallet floor, and have one curled up in there. Yeah.
Oh, well.
But I am going to take a video of this because there's a lot of stuff out there, and these guys operated out there for like 5 years, or it was 5 years ago, but they estimate he was out there for 3 to 5 years. One of the guys died in prison, and then the other guy is still in prison. And they what they did, they had grinders, and they grind off any markings that were burned in, into the wood.
Yeah.
They had barrels of paint out there. I mean, they had it all set up.
Good night, Eddie.
So it's I don't know, but I did a couple of those hives that I opened up. I turned that lid over. They're HDO lids, so I'm going to grab those lids. They're 10 frame. They're 10 frame lids, but I'll cut them down to 8 frame lid. It's just you run it through the table saw, you're done. So I'm going to get as many of those as I can. And the Caltrans, they don't care. They said take all the stuff if you want it. But I mean, the pallets, you look at it and they'll disintegrate. They're just about. I'm surprised they're still stacked. They crumble right when you touch them. Uh-oh.
Hey now.
Watch out.
Todd, you can't go anywhere.
Why? I gotta cook, man. I gotta
know.
cook, dude.
You get hungry on us.
It's not me. It's my tapeworm.
I haven't eaten yet either, so I don't blame you.
It's 9 o'clock over there.
I know. I got Alicia's out on it. Jackson's got a baseball game. Our 12-year-old, so I'm left to my own devices tonight. Might be a 3-egg omelet. We'll see. I know how to cook one of those.
Are them bee eggs or the duck eggs? What kind of eggs?
Drones. No, I trade a farmer down in the valley for his chicken eggs and trade him a pint of honey.
You
So
guys just a bunch of horse traders. That's what they are. You got to watch that dirty side bunch. They're all horse traders. They'll skin you out of your eyelashes.
no, sir. No, sir. Yeah, sorry about that April 1st jargon. That's, I try to get them down to 4 frames of brood on April 1st. That's how I remember it.
You young guys, that's all. I tell you, there's absolutely ruined the whole season.
What I'm trying to do is learn every day. So
One bad egg.
I'll take note. I'm trying to learn all the time. So I'll learn
Did
that
you know
lesson.
that what he done there, Todd? You surely aware of that, aren't you?
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
He got into work these beehives on April Fool's Day, April 1st. Anybody that knows anything about honeybees knows that you don't even get close to a beehive on April Fool's Day. You make them bee gods mad.
Yep.
And he has jinxed the whole area.
Where in the world did you hear that? I've never heard that before.
Yeah, Todd, I hadn't either, but JW taught me, and for now, at least until next year, I'm just gonna blame Tom.
I tell you, you young bucks got a lot to learn about this bee stuff. I'm telling you, especially if you listen to me.
I don't doubt that for a second. I'm trying to learn every day, sir.
I'll take you snipe hunting when you come out here too.
There we go. I've never been snipe hunting. That sounds like fun.
I have. I went snipe hunting once when I was a kid.
Did you see anything?
Didn't catch one. I have my pillowcase right there on that trail in the bushes waiting for
Well, that was what you done wrong. You didn't get any, did you?
No.
You gotta have a burlap sack. That's the only thing you can catch snipes in. And the pillowcases won't not work at all.
Todd?
That's the reason you didn't get any. You come out here, I'll give you some burlap sack. We'll catch them suckers. You have a sack full of them before you leave.
Oh, jeez. Man.
You go Barbie, Joey. I'm getting a little off center here.
I rattled them, Joey. I rattled them.
Yeah. Matt came in and JW came unglued.
Oh.
Oh,
Well, I got through 19 of them dudes today, Matthew.
Did you really? Good for you.
Yep. And I think I put on 21 or 22 supers on those 19.
Oh,
More.
nice.
I've got a bunch of 2 deeps and several 3 deeps now.
Yeah, we want to try to catch some of that Keith Spielman honey.
Yes. I've already got it, but I'm not going to pull any of them. I just added to them. I've got them that's full now.
I know we have some locusts and some of the supers. I just don't know how much yet. There's, I think, 75 or 80 supers out. So they're not all full. I know that, but some of them are. A good number of those are probably. So we'll see.
Well, now you're going to have to come out here and bring all that stuff out here and extract it for you. Either that or buy you one of them.
Yeah.
Mark, I'm going to start a wildfire here. I'm probably say something I shouldn't say. John Hill was on Facebook at his home that he lives in. I know where it's at. I know the house, and it's for sale. And he says he has a calling, and he is moving to Tennessee, down in there around Cayman someplace. I don't know. I'm just telling you that he's got his house advertised on Facebook. John Hilco, the owner of Hilco. That's a family. I think his dad's pretty active in the business too. I don't know if he's going to run the business, or I wouldn't think John want to move away from, move his home away from, but maybe his religious calling is stouter than his business calling, but I think it'd have to be awful stout to outdo his business calling. But I'm just saying, I'll start a rumor. I hope I'm not starting a rumor, but unless it's a fake deal on somebody's hacked him or got to put up a fake deal on Facebook. It shows a picture of his home. I know that, and that's it. And it says for sale and giving them out that it's for sale. They're asking for it. They're a realtor.
Hmm.
So I kind of took me by shock or surprise anyway.
You saw that today?
Yep. Actually, it was yesterday, I think. It's on. It was on Facebook.
Hmm.
So.
Well, guys, I'm gonna have to start grilling. Tucker the tapeworm is starting to get angry.
Okay.
Cook one for us, buddy.
Yeah, I will.
Make your neighbors jealous. There's nothing better than smelling someone's barbecue. It's just like, oh man, I should have thought of that.
Yeah, I didn't say anything about moving his business, Russell. I'm assuming that he's just moving his residence down there and maybe gonna.
He can do it online.
Be a 5 or 6 hour drive back and forth. Maybe that's what he's going to do. He owns half that one little old town that his business is in. He's got probably a full city block almost under occupied by Hilco now. So I don't know.
He can run it remotely.
Well, I see. You can do that, yes, but it's.
I'm sure he'll make.
Like I said, I think his dad's pretty active in the technical part of the business anyway. I don't know about the sales part of it, but in the the inner workings of the business, I think his dad helps him quite a lot. So that's supposition on my part. That's not factual information, folks. So please don't. But I did see it on Facebook, and I was really surprised.
But, all right, guys. Well, I'm gonna hit the road, the barbecue road.
Thanks for coming on, buddy, because I'm sure Joy got tired of hearing me blabbing, so we got you blabbing a little bit too. So
Happy Sunday to you, Todd.
Happy Sunday, guys. I'm gonna be putting on OA pads tomorrow.
Nice.
Did you make a batch yet, Matt?
Nope. I got everything to do it though. So
what I'm going to do, folks, is all you no-life beekeepers that happen to tune in on this, I think if we all go together and everybody brings a prospect to Nobby in January, we can surely come up with Todd. If he comes up to Nobby this year, we can surely line him up with a woman. And I'm going to make special effort to bring 2 or 3 on myself.
Louisville City Hall.
Oh man,
that'll teach you about guys to cut out early on us. We're going.
Hey, if I had a full belly, I'd be here all night.
I'm going to put out a wanted ad on Facebook Marketplace. You'll see.
Oh jeez.
California bee god is.
Yeah, we're gonna get that bidding up real high.
Oh, you guys, I've had about enough of this.
Well, please don't stay mad long, old buddy.
Oh, I'm not mad.
JW is getting ordained in the meantime, so it's okay.
I'm going to get ordained. Get my ministerial license.
Well, he said he's a boat captain, so he can walk on water.
Just the way it is. I've got to.
Man, oh man, I better go before something else happens.
Okay, well, we can talk about you more when you're not out here.
Yeah, well, I'll be listening though. I might be taking notes. I'll be taking mental notes. I'll be prepared for next week.
I'll get some help, and I'll get Phil Ken up there to help me, and maybe.
Oh man.
Maybe I can get Clay Bunner. He could probably bring some of them North Carolina bells or South Carolina bells in. Get you some Michiganders, you Alabamans, and Georgia bells, and we'll have you a lineup selection. You just come in and pick one out.
I haven't made my airline reservations yet, so. I have until actually. I think I have until the 20th to cancel to cancel the tickets, and then I think the hotel I'm staying at, it's the night before I could cancel. So
I hope you're staying at the same one I'm in.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
That's where the party's at.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Tom and Melissa instructed me where. Well, actually, Melissa did. She instructed me where it's going to be.
Oh, really? Okay, you're serious then, huh? You
Yes, sir.
made reservations there at the Fairfield.
Yep. Yep.
A good deal. Well, we will have a big time if I'm still alive. I hope I'm still living so I can aggravate you guys.
Oh man.
Todd,
All right, well,
I know you're trying to get out of here.
I gotta eat, guys. I gotta eat.
All right, buddy. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
All right. See everybody later. Have a good weekend. Have a good weekend.
Good night.
JJ.
Nah,
See you, Matt. See you, JW.
See you, buddy.
Hey, Jeremy.
Hey. Have you found us a place to hang out yet, Jeremy? Oh, I think Tom said you was going to, you was referring, was going to try to help us out we'll need a venue for the way things are going. If I get all of Todd's girlfriends in there, we probably need a venue that'll hold about 200.
So I don't know about you guys. Do you guys use Queen excluders with a lot of success?
I do. Religious.
Well, I'm so new at it. I just, this is third honey season, let's call it. And man, I got 2 hives, pretty stout. They weren't going to be big enough to get into a double deep before the flow. So I figured I would just get them into a single box, single deep, and pull 1 frame of eggs or larvae up and let those hatch, and they'll backfill it with honey. And sure as heck, if they didn't swarm out 2 days ago into this little dogwood tree about 10 feet above them.
Yeah.
Caught them, and went back yesterday. I think Mark Miller said that he had some storms come through, but anyway, that got him in a pro nuke, and they blew over, and they're up in that same tree when I went back down there. So I caught them again, and they were in there still at dark, but I'm thinking about just moving them to another yard. If they want to swarm, I'm going to let them swarm 5 miles away.
Yeah.
But my experience is if you mess around with swarms at all, you're almost guaranteed wasting your time. Not every time, but it just seems like it's just a problem hive from the get-go, and it never, they end up kind of making a fool of you. You spend more time on them, or like, for instance, catching them twice. Those things are probably just going to swarm out as soon as I move them. But just a thought or a question.
I'm going to give you a little.
Queen excluders would be more of a prone cause of that, or?
I'll give you a little hint that works for me. I'm not telling you. You could take, without moving that box 5 mile, you can take that and what I do, I've got a bunch of pallets around here. And I just drive a rod in the ground, set a pallet about a foot in front of it. I've never had one. I shouldn't never say never, but I've done it a bunch of times successfully without, moving that hive. That'll force them into reorientating, Matt, and they'll stay right there. I've moved them. I've got one, and I'll show you when you come out there, a hive that swarmed, 10 foot, and I boxed them in another hive, and it's still sitting there 10 foot apart. And I put a pallet in front of it, and they've never moved. They're still there.
Interesting.
When you come out, I'll probably still have the pallet in front of them.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
Well, it works for me. I'm not saying that's a guarantee, but it works for me, and it's worked quite successfully for me over the years.
Well, I appreciate that. That's why these chats are invaluable.
Well, I'm not telling you that's Joey may have other ideas, but I'm telling you, I I rarely ever. I mean, I split hives and within 10 foot of one another, and if I split one like that, I do the same thing. I don't move them a mile or ever.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah, it's good to know.
yeah, it works for me. That's all I can say. So I made a little old short video. If you get on my Soapstone Farm honeybees, I don't know, a year or two ago. I did a hive that way and show you how you just a pallet. You know? So I got a bunch of old T-posts from line fences. And I'll drive them down, but you can take a rod or anything just enough to hold that pallet up. Or if you don't do that, if you got an old lawn chair or something set in front of it, do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that makes sense. I mean, we get about a foot of topsoil. After that, it's solid rock. So at least up there on what I call the mountain.
get you a big rock and stick in front of it. One of them big flat
Yep.
flagstone deals.
Yep.
The kids stand it up in front of it.
Yeah, I'll get them to reorientate for sure. I'll try it out.
Well, you see people talk about putting brush and, tree limbs and all that on the landing boards or something. I don't mess with all that. I've got a bunch of pallets around. I just stick a pallet in front of one. That's what I do.
Your bees been flying a lot. The weather's been so nice here. They've been.
Oh, it was a beautiful day today, wasn't it? 76 degrees was the high, and it had a nice breeze. But like I said, I went through pretty deep. I didn't go to bottom board on some of the stronger ones, but I went through 19 highs after about from 11:30 to about I left the bee yard at 6, so I went through 19 highs, and I think I put on 22 or 23 additional supers. Some of them I put on 2.
That's great.
Yeah, you talk about screen boards, queen excluders. I went through all my metal ones, and I've still got a few plastics, but I don't like to use them on. They're just in reserve as a last resort. So I've got to get some more from that. Our new supply guy. Hope Matt or Tom said he bought a bunch of them out there. Hope he didn't buy them out, because I'm going to have to.
No, he didn't buy them out, but I think I would 35 maybe, something like that. A good stack. But I was actually surprised how much 35 queen excluders weighs, because I picked them up over the side of the truck, and I almost wish I didn't. I mean, 35 queen excluders is a little heavier than you might think it is.
Yeah, well,
metal ones, at least.
I've got
a lot of weight.
2 metal ones. I got 2 metal ones.
They're good quality for sure.
They're just like the ones I've seen them over there. They're just like the ones I have. But I thought I had enough, but I'm running out.
I haven't. It seems like when they get to making that honey dome in the top deep and start storing that honey above them, the queen is not really passing it. I haven't had a whole lot of queens getting up in the plant.
Well, it don't take them very long to lay one, to where it makes a mess in your supers.
Yeah, I'm not saying they don't have a place, and for me right now, it's just one more piece of equipment that I don't have 120.
Folks, it's strictly swear against them, but I love them. I like them.
I'm experimenting with it because I want to test them out, and
I tell you what I had happen to me the other day. I quit using them several years ago and just started back again because I got tired of that queen getting up in that top box.
Mm-hmm.
Usually they would just get in there and just maybe like one frame and lay a little bit in it, and then they'll start pushing her back down.
Mm-hmm.
But some of them would get in there and just like they wanted to stay. They'd lay that whole top box up before they go back down and just kind of mess all your good comb up. Mm-hmm. So I said, I'm going to start using them again. I went in one hive about 4 days ago, and it's got a third deep on it with an excluder.
Mhm.
The queen, a brand new queen, I had put in that second box, put an excluder on there, and went ahead and put them a empty deep box on there
Mhm.
with like three or four drawn cone and the rest plastic.
Mhm.
Well, about a week later, I came back to that yard. I pulled the lid off and started looking, and she's laying up in that top box above that excluder.
Hmm.
I said, "How in the world did this happen?" She come out of a cage and had to go up through that excluder. I said, "She's hung up in the top." I went through it twice and couldn't find her. I set that box to the side, and she was in the middle box too, below the excluder. And that brood nest, I figured what I'd find was a queen up top and a queen
Down
below.
below.
But
Mhm.
you can look at that brood nest the way way she works like this in a circle.
Yep.
That queen excluder was right in the middle of it. She's been passing through that thing.
Wow.
Now,
Did you? Well,
probably
yeah, well,
because she was in that cage, she probably was small enough to get through it a few times. But after
Yeah.
she started swelling up, she just luckily got hung up in the bottom.
yeah.
But you can see that pattern if you put those two frames together, one below it and one above it. You can see that pattern. I didn't video none of that, so it don't count.
Yeah.
But
Well, I've had that happen before, Joey, and what I've found is if you get to looking real close, I don't know what it is about them little suckers, but if you got one bar that's bent a little bit wide,
yeah,
they'll find that one hole every time and go through
yeah.
it. And
Well, she had to pass it a bunch then because she laid up 3 frames.
Yeah,
But
I never
I'll
had
check
that.
again next time I go back, see what she does. If she's gone back through it, I'm going to throw that one away and put another excluder on it.
Joey, I
But-
had to giggle watching your video transferring that swarm trap in. And I've gone through and cycled those bad plastics out. There's nothing worse than opening
Yeah.
a hive when you're expecting that frame to be at least worked and it's just completely blank. It's,
Yeah.
you want to zip that thing in the woods real quick, you know.
Yeah, I about got most of them called out.
Mm-hmm. Anymore, I roll wax on everything I put in, whether it's any foundation that
Yeah.
I'm putting on, I'm rolling a little wax on it just because.
Yeah, there's some foundation you get. And I'll talk to you about that in private. I got some from a pretty good name. I talked to Joy. Mentioned this to Joy earlier this evening. And my bees, I've never had. I rewaxed everything too, and they just flat refuse to touch these foundations. It's on these hives I got from this one source this spring.
Interesting.
You know, I'll tell you about it. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get on here and badmouth, a supplier,
Yeah.
and
I bought,
on the public chat, but I'll tell you, and because it's in your area, so.
mm-hmm. I think that, to be what I found to be successful at beekeeping, you have to do a lot of the small things really well.
Mhm.
You know, and for me, that's just adding a little extra wax on my foundation before it goes in every time. Just those little things that help, and I don't know. I want them to pull that comb. It's a $3 or $4 piece of frame, but you sell a nuke with it, it's a $40 frame. So
I waxed over 100 this morning before I started got in the bee yard,
yeah. Yep. I wax them about as fast as I can make a box or,
Yeah. So.
I'm really happy with that supplier, though. I can tell you that.
Well, I think it'll be a good deal for all of us. I just wish I'd have got with him a little sooner, because I've been aware of him and his folks for 5 or 6 years, and I was real satisfied with my supplier at the time. But and it changed hands. He sold out, so I wasn't real satisfied with the new owners, so I went to looking and worked out to hopefully it'll save everybody a little money and good stuff too.
Yeah. Yep. What's the average price, just out of curiosity, what's the average price people are paying for a Deep Super 10 frame?
I'm gonna say $20 plus.
Assembled, yeah.
Yeah, it's assembled 23, 24, 25, some of them in some places.
Yeah. That's what I was paying before this.
Yeah. So
When I used to roll it, I used one of them little small
4-inch.
4-inch
You know,
rollers.
I actually prefer a paintbrush.
Yes.
I've used them all on the rollers, and I went back this year to just an old cheapy paintbrush and dipping it, because I can do that just about as fast as you can roll them.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually does a little more uniform. You know, if a roller will kind of stick on you, and you get a glob here, and I can get a little evener coat, seem like, with the paintbrush than I can with a roller.
Mm-hmm. I've tried the foam roller, and I find that kind of puts more of it down in the cells. So I use it's a cabinet grade roller, 6-inch speed roller is what I call it, but it's a really, really fine nap. It's not foam, but just the next step up from foam, and it puts a perfect little right around the volcano crater, so to speak, at the top, and it coats it really well. I mean, you can almost snap a finger. They'll draw a comb in 2 or 3 days, you know, if everything's just right.
Yeah. And like I said, different strokes for different folks. Everything what works for you, that's what I'm going to suggest you use. When I mention something, I'm just telling you what works best for the old man.
How do you like using that wax crayon, Joey? Does it put a good coat on there in a pinch?
It kind of does okay. I've always kept a block like that in there. If I find one that's maybe been in the box all year, get something like that, and it still feels a little tacky, I'll hit it. It'll help a little bit. It ain't like repainting.
I carry just a hunk of with me all the time. If I got even a bad place on the frame, you know, it's got a 2-inch or 4-inch area on the frame. If they're not working, I'll smear a little more on it when I'm working the hive. Sometimes I always carry some in my fartmobile, I call it.
Mm-hmm. JW's golf cart. That thing's awesome. I'll tell you what.
But I carry some extra wax with me all the time. Just you know, I used to take my old toilet paper rolls and just pour it full of that wax and use it like that. Now I just take a hunk and break it off and just carry a hunk with me and just smear it on in places. I don't try to make a crayon or anything, you know, anything fancy. I just break a piece off of a block I got of it or something, you know.
It's a whole heck of a lot better than just saying, "Oh yeah, I'll come back and replace that frame in a couple days," and you never do, you know.
Not gonna do it.
Yeah.
You'll never think of it again.
Yeah, that's the first way to forget.
Well, you think of it when you go through that box again. I meant to come back and do that, but I didn't.
Yeah, then you have bridge comb going this way.
Yeah. Or sticking out a 1/4 inch away from the the foundation there in that spot. You know, they'll build that. I don't know how they make it. They'll build it on out and then come down away from it rather than build on it sometimes.
Got to be careful. Those little mating nukes will build up pretty quick. I found some comb like that, and they were just a couple frames of bees. And next thing you know, if they only had 4 frames and a 5-frame nuke, and that 5th frame spot would be full all the way from the lid down. It's like, man, they drew beautiful comb, but not on the foundation. They chose to build in that void versus, build out on all the foundation they had.
I got one of those surprises today in one of my highs. I don't even remember doing it, but I stuck it in one of my deep boxes. I was
Mhm.
checking frames and I had a medium in there, I pulled it. I got a place for some comb, honey. If they don't lay it full of eggs before I get back in there. They made me some nice comb on the bottom of that medium frame.
How's everything down there with you, Joey? The weather, you got a good flow going?
I got a trickle going. I got several frames. I pulled a few frames of honey the other day, and I got several that's full. They just ain't capped and ready. They real drippy.
Mm-hmm.
You can just pull it out and shake it, and it dribbles off.
I'm being aggravated by my little buddy.
But the box is full. I was telling JW I'm gonna have to go put another medium on top of them.
Nice. Yeah,
Rumble.
that's a great feeling knowing you got honey on the hives.
Yeah.
What's up, Boz?
Oh, no, we're not going to sing, so you don't know you.
He's feeling hoarse tonight. I tell you what, that dog's sitting still right now, but when he gets his zoomies, boy, he's just off like a rocket.
Mm-hmm.
Get that little rear end close to the ground and pew!
Yep, it can fly, can't you, buddy? Hmm? You know, one little privet I got around here's not blooming. Have you got a little privet around you out there?
Sparsely, not.
I don't have enough to even count, but what little I got, it's not blooming.
I think if we have it, it's because someone's planted it. To be honest.
Well, that's where it kind of is around here. I'd say that maybe spread. There's our cat. Way Farm guy, Joey.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah. World Bee Day, 20th of May at 25. Our World Bee Day is a different date than that, Ken. I don't know if you can hear us or not, but here in the States, that's in the fall sometimes, I recall, isn't it, Joey? You know what you talk about? It's not the same as.
I'm not sure.
I think it's in late summer, early fall. Or what they call a World Bee Day here, if I recall. I'm not into that type of stuff, but I think that's the case here. I don't think they're all the same, but maybe it is. You'd think of it as a World Bee deal, they'd all be the same thing.
Yeah.
So, is your graduation over? You got it to do yet?
They're actually having a bunch of, there's 6 18-year-old boys here tonight, so I'm going to call them young men maybe, but
yeah,
they're kind of piling around. We live across the park, so they're over there playing basketball right now. So
I got a granddaughter from high school and one from junior college and one from 4-year college graduating right now, all of them.
What was it now? I'm sorry.
I said I got a granddaughter and 2 grandsons.
Oh, okay.
One high school, one junior college, and one 4-year college. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, they keep you busy. I know that.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Our youngest had I don't even know what they call it, flyer or aerial class. So they it's a dance class, but they're on curtains or silks, they call them. But it's kind of like they get all wrapped up in this thing and go flying and twirling, and you would think that they would just get, it's hard to watch, but it's a lot of hard work, I'm sure, but they put on a pretty good show. So that was my pre-evening.
This country out here, Brian, we had lots of lightning bugs, fireflies, and more. I seen some right here about a month ago, and I haven't seen much. I've got a
I hadn't noticed any lately.
small.
I was hitting them coming back from Mark Miller's last Saturday evening down there along the river.
Yeah, this field right here in my backyard, in my background here, that's about a 3-acre patch, and I lived right in the edge of town. But we got about a 3-acre field behind. I'll see a few out there, but the ones I seen was about a month ago. I haven't seen any real lately, hardly. But they're not used to. The countryside was just full of them. You seen them every place, when I was a kid. But that's a day or two ago.
I feel like it's a little early here yet, but that's just me. I'm thinking they're more June, July, but maybe not.
I'm not going to say, but I had some here, and I'm just talking about maybe a couple double handfuls I seen flying out here in this field there. Oh, that's probably been a month ago. I haven't even really paid attention here recently, so we've had so doggone much rain. They might have all drowned. I don't know.
Good night, Russell.
Hopefully it balances out. It doesn't get to a drought situation, and we get a little rain when we need it. But not too much at once or not too little.
Yeah. Well, good night, Russell. See you, Southern Russell.
Night, Russell.
Well, I call him Southern Russell and Tootin and Northern Russell. I'm not going to say on the timing on those. I think they're like I said, when I was a kid, they were just, there were just literally thousands of them, but this agricultural spray is taking care of a lot of that type of stuff.
You know what I don't hear very often, but I did hear one last year, was a whippoorwill.
Yeah.
You used to, as a kid, you'd hear those constantly. All of a sudden, last summer, I heard one, and I just after I heard it, I was like, "Wow, that's a sound I haven't heard since I can remember." Seemed like since I was a kid. But
I've got that main farm of mine where you guys came to out there, where that's been 40 some years ago. That was used to be just loaded. Now, once the Great Wall, but I'm not out there that awfully much at night, anymore. My son, one of my sons live out there, but I don't actually live out there on those premises. But you hear them out there on occasion, but nothing like it used to be. It all used to be pretty much just a solid song. Y'all got whippoorwills, Joey? Surely do, don't you?
Yeah, we just like Matt said, we used to hear them all the time. Don't hear them as much now.
Yeah, they got to have they're ground nesters. Whippoorwills, ground nesters, and they've just so much of their habitat. They'll nest right in leaves on the forest. If you got wood floor, they'll nest right in the leaves, right on the ground in the woods. It's where they nest, and there's a doggone many coons and possums and stuff. I think that
another thing we used to have a lot around here. Some people called them bull bats, but it was the nighthawk.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen any around here in a long time, but when I moved on the property in my work, you hear them out there every night. You could hear them.
Are those the ones that are just way, way up there?
Well, they'll fly around, and you can hear them when they dive. You can hear their feathers, their quills. Yeah, they're just like a woo when they're coming down. I love to sit out there and listen to them. They get out and get active just about sundown.
Yeah, there's not many of them around anymore either.
Yeah.
I do have a bunch of bob whites. They're whistling all the time, even right now around me. I sit and listen to them all day.
We used to have a lot of those too, but we don't anymore.
Well, they're not like they used to be, but I've still got several around.
I'm trying to think. Killdeer,
Mhm.
out there where the prison is where I work, they have a bunch of them out there.
I've got
Uh,
hundreds of them.
I have none
gravel
around my house. None around my house, but they out there. That 1,200 acres is just full of them.
Them things will build their nest in the rocks along the side of the roads. There are a lot of gravel roads here. I mean, between my farm and I'm a mile and a half off the main highway. My farm, I've got a half mile of gravel. The last half mile of my farm, you come off there's gravel, and them killdeer. You know, you can't hardly see their eggs. You be right on top of them. They're camouflaged. They just look like
Yeah,
they'll have their nest right there in them gravel alongside them roads.
yeah.
Gravel roads.
And they'll run out there like they crippled, like they've got a broke wing. They'll fall on their back.
Get
Those are the first ones to put a show on for you.
Yeah.
You can tell when you get close to that nest, they get coming to you, try to get back in front of you and
Yeah.
fall over again.
Like a fainting goat.
Yeah.
Joey, are you paying any attention to the time? I'm not trying to reel
Yeah,
the
I'm glad you noticed. I looked at it about 10 minutes ago.
I've been in a full 2 hours, and that's I'm about to run out of lies to tell folks.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've made about half of them mad by now. So,
Well, you probably got a long enough list. You can just start over.
Yeah. Like the radio station, you play long enough, you just go to replay.
well,
Yeah.
we didn't have diarrhea mouth along tonight to fill in the gaps for me. So,
Yeah.
Everyone got a chance to talk.
yeah.
No, I'm sure
Yeah.
they're having fun there on their trip. I think
Yeah.
they're out of town.
Yeah, I know where they're at.
I saw where she'd reposted that old video from like 2015, I think it was, him messing with that armadillo. And when he jumped, she dropped the camera.
Oh yeah.
I tell you, you can grab one of them things by the tail and he trying to get away from you, they can dig a hole in a heartbeat.
Oh yes, very much so.
They'll bury themselves if you can hang on to them.
You know, I had a little old Jack Russell at one time. That's been 20 years ago when I was down there in Florida. He could dig them armadillos out and kill one of them. But I kept a puppy out of him or two, and none of them had near the grit. That sucker fight. I called him Bandit. He'd fight a circle saw, and he could kill about anything he got hold of. But I kept puppies out of him and never could get a puppy that's anywhere near that gritty. He could actually kill an armadillo. That's not too many dogs can do that.
I had a pit bull.
I can
A
tell you
pit
that.
bull I had was- he'd just walk up to them and grab them and crush them.
Yeah. Well, a pit bull might be able to. It's just a little bit of Jack Russell. You wouldn't know.
I don't know how he did it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and call it and say good night to everybody. Glad everybody come in the chat side over there.
Oh, Rodney. Good night, fellas. Good to see y'all. Good to see y'all on the chat. Thanks for coming in and listening to our lies. Well, my lies. I think I'm the only one lying. I know Joey don't lie, and Matt, he's questionable.
I try to keep it straight.
You got to watch him because he's silly enough to work bees on April Fool's Day, and I'm going to have to get him taught how to do otherwise.
I'm glad I heard that. I don't know what I might have worked it on April Fool's and paying for it and didn't know it.
Yep.
Well, I'll see y'all on the next one.
All right.
Good night,
Good night,
everybody.
fellas.